Hey folks, finally almost ready to get into a new year, huh? I wanted to touch base. It's been a while since we've had an event or an action and uh, touch base with everybody about Sabal Trail. So, if you've been following what's been going on, what originally was planned was that they were going to start construction in June. They ended up not starting construction until after Labor Day. So they are in a mad rush to get the work done. They're behind schedule. We already know that both Spectra and Enbridge has gone ahead and they met. They had their shareholder meetings. They were supposed to have them first quarter. They went ahead and did the votes. They had a special shareholder meeting in December. Both companies voted to go ahead and merge. Um, I understand that there's still a stage of, now I haven't gone to Enbridge lately and taken a look at their investor presentations, but there was like one more stage of the regulatory agencies would have to approve the merger. So at this point, the Dakota pipeline is got some uh, investors that might not follow through with their investing, so they're behind. And then Sabal Trail got started behind. So here's where we're at. They approved and started working on phase 1 of Sabal Trail. So that's kind of bringing it down from Georgia to Alabama, getting to through northern Florida, the Panhandle, and that. Now they're not completely done with phase 1. They are still working on it, but the drills are in place are ready to go under the three rivers, and perhaps they might have already drilled under them. I'll admit I haven't been on top of the status reports the last couple weeks. I've had some deaths in my family in the last month and a few other things. But I'm pretty sure that they've already gone underneath the rivers. We're doing a good job of the folks that are available in areas and are out there that are aware of the project. We've got some really strong teams getting out there, getting the violations recorded and reported and stuff like that. Um, but they are about to commence phase 2. So this is where we're going to start getting in the southern portion. Now, I've in talking around with some folks, um, my goal when I work on this stuff has always been to help educate and help bring people to the table. That's always been my goal. And so right now, I just want folks to understand they are going to start phase 2, but there's 2 pipelines they're constructing right now, and I've talked about these in previous videos. But even yesterday, like 2 nights ago, I talked to somebody on the phone, and they thought Sabal Trail was going into Martin County. It's not. It will be feeding what's going to happen down south. But there's actually another pipeline down there. That's the Florida Southeast Connection pipeline. So I wanna clarify this for everybody because this seems to be a sticking point. There's multiple pipelines going on. Overall, there's 5 all attached to this. It's called the Southeast Markets Project Pipeline, or Southeast Market Pipeline Project. So there's Sabal Trail, which starts moving things from Alabama, Georgia, Florida, brings it down to Central Florida. There's a little hub in Central Florida. There's a Duke Energy plant already there, and they're going to be building one of the compressor stations there. In Alabama, there's a little extension off there. It's called the Hillaby expansion. Then you get down into Florida. Citrus County has a small line. And then in this Central Florida hub, where it's going to end up, there's a little line jutting up northeast there that called the Hunters Creek line. Now, we are definitely seeing there was a statewide action 2 days ago there is starting to be more and more media coverage. And so everyone that's out there, doing flyers, talking to their neighbors, talking to the person in line ahead of them or behind them, it's awesome that information is getting out there. Now, this has been going on for several years. And so the truth of the matter is they're going to get working on this second phase of it. And I definitely appreciate everything that everyone is doing all around the state to help spread the word in that. But one thing we don't want to lose track of is Sabal Trail is just the beginning of what's going to feed everything that's going on here in Florida. So it's laying the groundwork for a whole network that's going to be hitting us. And there are opportunities in these different counties to fight the projects that it will be feeding. So one thing, I'm concerned about, like Martin County, you guys have the NextEra energy plant down there. You have All Aboard Florida that's coming through there. You have the Florida Southeast Connection pipeline. So it is great that Tim Canova's picked this up to start talking about it, but then I get concerned, why isn't he talking about these projects that are down south that you all can go right now and be talking to your representatives about and be involved in? There, you don't have to go all the way up to Live Oak or come up to Central Florida. You can get along this Florida Southeast Connection pipeline and help the folks that are along that path, to slow down construction and things like that. I don't know that we can stop the pipeline, and that's been something we've always been worried about. Once the public comment period passed. So this is I wanted to touch base with everybody because I think everyone's kind of relying on being at the right place at the right time and finding out about things. But that's the whole situation we're dealing with. We had there were active movements to fight KXL, and there was funding for it, and civil disobedience camps were thrown out there and held and things like that. And so KXL, got stopped. Well, during that time period, while everyone was working on that, that's when all this public comments for this stuff happened. So I now live in Brevard, and we still got Light Brigade members in Orlando, so we're spread across the two counties. There's a lot of different ways and a lot of different tactics to approach these things. So, everyone is doing their best that's aware of it. We need to continue to educate. But when we're educating about this, we also need to be talking about what is the public input process and how does the public get involved at the beginning stages, not once construction has begun. As much as, there are times and places for civil disobedience, but the thing is at this point, there are so many projects out there that we definitely need the help sharing the information and getting things documented and getting things out there, but we don't want it at the expense of you all losing opportunity to speak up. For example, right now in Brevard, they're going to have an LNG facility in Titusville, and they're also a part of the All Aboard Florida network. Now, with the LNG facility, that facility was too close to the runways. It doesn't follow the federal regulations. The company applied for a variance to the federal regulations, and the public comments ended for that in October, before the election. I don't think anybody that would actively fight LNG, the anti-frackers in the county, I don't think any of them submitted public comments. I didn't submit public comments because I wasn't even aware of the variance. So this is kind of what we're up against, is that there is so much being planned that has been planned for years And it's just gonna start hitting us one by one by one. And so it is very confusing to try to jump in and go find this information and sift through it. It's there's nothing fun about it. I'm not gonna pretend. Um, but it's real important. It's kind of time to get back into like a high school study situation, you know, or college student situation. Get your notebook out, start making notes, start comparing notes with other people, things like that, because we have to start learning how to be involved in this public comment process before these projects break ground. So right now, what I want to do real quick is I'm going to show you just a couple resources that are up there if you want to check the status of Sabal Trail. Right here I'm at, I don't have the best cameras, guys, the best phones. Right here I'm at Sabal Trail Transmission website. They have a newsletter here, so you can even pull up this little fall 2016 newsletter. It's real small print, so you would have to zoom in, but it talks about it. It actually gives you here what types of inspections they're going to be doing. What are the steps for building the pipeline? So they have to survey, mark the route and authorized worked areas. They have to clear the work areas of brush and trees, separate the topsoil, grade the work area to level, string the pipe along the work area. So all the steps are here for us. When you're going around and you find things, they talk about they've got a construction hotline and disturbances, blasting, safety. And down here there's a little graphic that shows you the timeline. So right now we're here in the timeline. So I think it's, you know, yes, it's great that a politician is out there helping us talk about this and gets the time to go speak, but then I'm not hearing about the projects in that politician's area, and that's where I get a little bit nervous about the situation. Now here's a different website, spectraenergy.com. So you can go right there and they have information about Sabal Trail, what it's supposed to be. I don't have a good way to zoom. They let you know what the docket number is here and give you like a little status on it. There's a project calendar. So right here, commence construction the first half, it's 2016. Well, they didn't do that. So now they've started construction now, but it appears that they're rushing construction because folks that are in the areas, they're working day and night. And it kind of makes sense. It's winter, you know, in a lot of other spots. They've got snow and things. So why not send everybody to Florida right now to work? They even talk about the different facilities. So here's where you can find out, you know, about what's going to be in the different counties and these compressor stations. Does anyone even know about this right here? Construction of 6 new meter stations. I know there's an M&R station planned in Orlando. So does anyone know about that? Is anyone providing public input and speaking at OUC about All Aboard Florida, at the city council meetings and the county commission meetings about this stuff? So out here they have, you know, a lot of what they want you to know about. You can learn about the process from their websites. Now, FERC is where you go and you can do a docket search. This isn't fun to use at all, but if you want to come out here, this is FERC.gov. They have videos, a little video. They explain to you how to do like e-comments and e-registering and all this other stuff. But right here, I just want to show you there's Docket Search. When you go on the Docket Search, this is where you can put in your docket numbers. So here's a little trick. It's for some reason all the dockets have like these zeros on the end of it, but you want to delete that, and you just want this CP 15-17. And when you do that, then you go ahead and do your search. Right now okay, it refreshed. I had it limited to just December, but right now I just found out today I can't look at the status reports anymore. It's making me it's loading. It's saying that they're no longer available to the public. We have to do a FOIA request. So they've even starting to make it a little bit harder. But here's my thing. If they're going to be shipping LNG on all aboard Florida from Orlando to Cocoa, and there's going to be an LNG facility here in Titusville, then is there going to be an LNG facility in Orlando? Or is there some pipeline plan that we haven't even talked about yet? So this is why I want to just impress on everybody. I know this isn't fun, but kind of need everybody to get online and start figuring out what's going on in their county. All aboard Florida, it's not just Brevard, it's Indian River County, Martin County. Here's the search. It just came up with the docket. And it's going to tell you right away it's a very large inquiry. Right now, this won't even load the entire history for you. I had to narrow the search down to December 1st to 2016. If you can see my little status bar, I mean, this thing is like got to be like over 300 pages long, just documents and comments and things like that. So there's this docket. There's a completely different docket for the South Pipeline, the Florida Southeast Connection Pipeline. And then there's a third docket for the 5 pipelines that are all tied together. And just keep in mind, like Sabal Trail is the tip of the spear that's going to be feeding everything else and getting all the other projects in place. Martin County went ahead and they put together, there's a present PDF. They are fighting all aboard Florida. Them and Indian River County were fighting. Now, I think Martin County has backed away because of expenses, but Indian River County is still completing the fight. I want to talk about Martin County because they actually do have a PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to get that up for you. Here, this around. They actually do have a PowerPoint presentation where you're able to see the blast radius, and or if you want to call it the incineration zone, for different intersections along all aboard Florida, which is kind of crazy. It'll even tell you what are the casualties for those blast zones. I'm getting this up right now. Thank you for bearing with me for a minute here. Where are these documents for Brevard? So see, we definitely need to be talking about Sabal Trail because it opens up the conversation for everything else that's going on across the state, and it's going to be feeding everything else. But we also need to be relying on ourselves to start educating ourselves and finding this information. And if Tim Canova is planning on running for another office, okay, fine, great. Tim Canova explained to us how to participate in this process. Citizen. So this is from Martin County. Let me see if I can, I don't know if I can shrink my thing back. So here's Martin County. Their fire department, I believe, put this together. And when you go, yeah, right here, Martin County Fire Rescue, December 2015. So they went through and they took a look at this request. They have some explanatory information. Here you go. It's flammable. It's odorless. It only needs a third of the space of compressed gas. Here's the transportation. So here's the thing, rail transportation of LNG is brand new in the US. So Florida, we are the guinea pigs for this. And that's why I want everyone to start researching this themselves, because there's no way a handful of people or even a coalition of 30 people can keep on top of everything that's going on in every single county. And all of us need to be talking to businesses, talking to school groups, all this stuff, because we're going to be the guinea pigs, just like our education system was the guinea pigs for the nation. We're going to be the guinea pigs for transporting this. And then not only have they never done rail transportation, but what they want to do for us is high-speed rail. So that's what's even scarier. So right now they're talking about doing 2 to 3 tanks of cars per day. This is talking about excuse me. This is saying pending regulatory approval. Now, I'm not up to date on everything going on in Martin County, so I don't know where this is. But let's look at this vulnerability assessment they have. So yellow zone, and it'll tell you it's notable discomfort, irritation, sensory effects, but the effects aren't disabling and they're reversible. Orange zone, irreversible, other serious long-lasting adverse health effects or an impaired ability to escape. Red zone, life-threatening adverse health effects or death. So here they have a little graphic of one part of the rail spot, a little part where it goes, and I mean, you can see right there, there's the red zone. Anybody that's driving along US 1 and there's an explosion, or on the 714 through here, you're dead. If it's a 10,000 gallon container, there's going to be at least one person dead and one home gone. The orange zone, about 166 people are going to be in distress, and 61 homes will be affected. And here's the yellow zone. Whatever they have, whatever affects them, might be reversible. And it gives you the radius down here. So this stuff is out here. Where is this for Brevard? Where is this for Indian River County? Does the average person know about this? I don't believe so. So that's why, let's look at this one. Look, this one right here. So this is A1A in this Southeast Bridge Road. I mean, look at that red zone. 228 people in the incineration zone. So yes, we should be talking about Standing Rock. We should be talking about Sabal Trail. All of these things are important, but we should not neglect what's happening in our own backyards. We're learning a hard lesson right now that if we don't provide Sabal Trail, public input, we're going to have things like Sabal Trail thrown at us. So this is a lesson that we need to take to heart right now. And we need to start doing this research. We can no longer rely on our government. We cannot rely on our politicians. We cannot rely on our nonprofits to inform us. I don't think anybody in Brevard has seen this. Or has seen anything like this, because anyone I've talked to, there's nothing mentioned. But I mean, here's one, the red zone. So this is a different intersection. St. Lucie. So this is right here, right along the state park. St. Lucie Inlet State Park. And in the red zone, which when we're talking about LNG, and that is basically the incineration zone, we've got 396 people that are probably going to die or have irreversible effects to their health that will be pretty intense. Look at the yellow zone. They'll have some harm, but it should be reversible, and that's 1,500. So there's a lot of good information out there about this stuff. You can find it from the agencies. You can weed through what what the energy companies will share with you, but some of it, you know, you have to think about that they've put the PR spin on it. So folks, I've met folks that had started working on Standing Rock. They found out about Sabal Trail from somebody out of state, and then they find Sabal Trail group, they come in the group, and then I ask them, do you know that this is coming? And I find out this is going to be right by their home. Along 528, there's whole brand new subdivisions, and all of this is going to be going right along that. So thank you to everybody who's helping spread the word in that. But one thing to keep in mind is that this is just, Sabal Trail is just the tip. It's going to be bringing so many other projects to our state, and we are going to be the guinea pigs for the nation, and we're going to watch our state get destroyed. So let's keep talking. I hope what I'm trying to express comes through. It's unfortunate, you know, with my experience, with when you get a lot of people together and a lot of interest and a lot of enthusiasm, there's a lot of vultures, you know, people that come and use the movement for their own purposes, or you see nonprofits see that there's a lot of money out there that they can get in donations, so they take advantage of that. And I kind of feel like we're starting to see some of that with what we've been working on. And yes, it's great that Tim Canova is talking about Sabal Trail, but I want to see more. What can the public do? What is happening down there? And I know I have high expectations, but if he wants to represent you all, why isn't he talking about the projects down there? And so that's kind of my whole point here. We can't rely on what they tell us publicly. We can't rely on representatives. We're at a point where we have to start governing ourselves the best we can. We have to insert ourselves into these regulatory procedures and these public comment procedures, and we have to go in there, you know, just no ifs, ands, or buts. They can't sweet talk us. Do we really want to be the guinea pigs for this? Is this really what you people moved to Florida for and are buying homes for $250,000 or more? I don't think so. So I would just, please, yes, we need your help, but save yourself as well. Find out what LNG or natural gas project is happening in your county, or happening in your mother's county or your grandparents' county. Get them informed, and it's a lot of work. It's not fun. I'm not looking forward to 2017, but I am going to try to put together some videos for some specific counties that have a lot of things going on in them with good details, but I don't know how fast I can get to that. But I wanted to get out here and say something because there's definitely misinformation, misdirection happening. The truth of the matter is phase 1 of Sabal Trail is pretty much almost done. They're moving on to phase 2. So if folks want to provide a physical resistance, then it's phase 2 they need to get focused on. And they also need to understand what's going on in these other projects, because it might not just be Sabal Trail in your area or a pipeline in your area. There might be way more going on. And I haven't even had the time to go and find out what kind of pollution is involved with the M&R station, or what kind of pollution is involved with the LNG facility. But I can't help but wonder, if there's going to be an LNG facility here, how is that getting fed? How are they going to get that natural gas? There must be another pipeline or something else in the works that we're not aware of that's going to be impacting Orange and Brevard and that. And I can only do so much, and the group can only do so much, but together, if everyone is working hard at this for their children and for their family and their neighbors and themselves and their property values, imagine what we can do. So I wanted to check in, guys. I know it's not a fun video to end the year with. However, it's just time to talk about the fact that they're moving on to the next step, and we need to continue to step up our game. Have a great evening tonight. Everyone stay safe. Looking forward to next year really making an impact on empowering people and getting folks to become a party at the table, a force to be reckoned with in these meetings. That's my goal. You're not to go in there and you be fed a lot of PR information, and then you never get to see stuff like this. That's not fair to everybody. And we need to find where these are. For even the pipeline projects, your fire department should have done stuff like this, analysis like this, and have emergency plans, and your sheriff's department. Where are those emergency plans? Have you seen them yet? Do you know what the blast radius is? The different pipelines have different diameters, and on top of that, there's different blast radius for each diameter. So it's a lot to absorb. So make a group and everybody start doing group study on this stuff, and let's get tight on our information and help each other rise above this, because we're under attack, and it's just not right. And I know people aren't here to be the guinea pigs for the nation in transporting this stuff by rail. Here's looking forward to 2017, y'all, and please forgive me for the way I go around things and how long-winded I am. It's just it's been bothering me lately, and I wanted to make sure this information was starting to get shared. I'll try to put together some tighter videos with more specific information for county by county soon. But I can't make any promises. So if you can start working on this in your county, that'd be awesome. All Aboard Florida, they want it going out to the Tampa-St. Pete area. They want it going up through Volusia to Jacksonville. So yes, fighting Sabal Trail, fighting the beginning of the fight is one thing, but there are end games involved, and now's the time to inform yourself. Now's the time to find out, is there public comments, and how to get those public comments. And it's not just saying, I don't want this in my area. You have to technically challenge their environmental impact statements and the things they propose. You have to go in there and challenge these blast radius and, all this stuff. And so it's going to require a lot of homework. And that's why, please make a group, start studying up on this. Again, this is right here, State Park. And the other thing is, Governor Scott is complaining right now that our state parks aren't making enough money. So is he going to start selling off our state parks pretty soon? How do we find out? How do we get involved with these public things in that? I know some of you are better at it than I am. And that's awesome. Please help educate me and educate others. And but hey, Tim Canova, if you're going to talk about this, then tell the people how to get on top of it and what else is going on in their area, not just what's being reported in the news, because all of it should have been reported in the news. All of it should have been taught to us individually by our government. And it wasn't. So if we're going to expect a change, then be the change. And that's my challenge to the folks that are taking the media, taking this opportunity to get media attention and all this other stuff, or raise money. Be the change, and don't worry just about yourself, but get this stuff out here for everyone else as well. Thanks, y'all, and I love you all. And sorry it's been so long. I'll try to be in touch soon. We're going to try to get some events out there for Light Brigade pretty soon, get back on track. Talk to you all soon. And yes, Rudy, I'll definitely add the links for these. And I'm sorry about me shaking it. The temperature's starting to drop. So I got to get inside, y'all. Please share this around, and please start looking into the projects in your area. Thank you.